It was the Elder's idea. He said it was the Elder's idea.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. The Burning Hammer boys are in the building, and today we have some predictions for you, specifically WWE SummerSlam match card predictions. But before we get into that, Dillon, why don't you start us off with your excitement level for this premium live event?
I'm pretty excited for SummerSlam, honestly. There is a good amount of matches that I am really, really excited for. We'll get into those matches. But right off the bat, I'm gonna say, actually no, we'll take our time. We'll get into it. I was gonna say which ones I'm most excited for, but let's just get into this card because I think it's going to be a super fun event. And I guess we'll start it off with talking about real quick before we get into our predictions. The fact that there is a match that we believe was supposed to be on this card. Feels like we've been building months to finally have the match on this card. And that match was Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. And then we came to find out during a segment on Monday, it seemed as if they were going to have their match this past Monday, and then Zoe Stark immediately came in with an interference and had Becky win via DQ. And so then that made more sense, and we were like, oh, okay, so they'll have the rematch at SummerSlam. But no, Adam Pearce backstage says they will have the rematch in 2 weeks on Raw. So Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus, two of the biggest, if not the biggest, women in the women's division, are off the SummerSlam card after months and months build up to this match. I'm not saying that I was over the moon excited about the match, because I do think it's gone on a little and it's dragged a bit for sure. But it feels really weird to just take it completely off the card. What are your thoughts about it, Mark?
Yeah, so it definitely, once this whole thing started, we were just like, all right, it's going to be a three-match feud that's going to end at SummerSlam. Obviously, that has not happened, and I think it's odd to have a match like this not on the SummerSlam card, especially when you essentially have a Slim Jim Battle Royal replacing the match. And so I'm just disappointed that we don't get to see that match at the biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam. They both deserve it. Even Trish low-key voiced her concerns on her Instagram stories. Someone posted something that was just like, they were disappointed and mad that the match wasn't happening at SummerSlam, and then she posted that to her story as well. I think it's a shame. I think that you've got two women. You've got one who is Trish, who is already a top-tier, top-5 WWE women's wrestler of all time. You have someone like Becky, future Hall of Famer, easily one of the best WWE women's wrestler of all time, and they are finally feuding. They're finally colliding. Their paths finally cross. This is something we were fantasy booking years ago, and we finally get it, and the feud has not lived up to what we have expected.
Not at all.
And I will say, throwing Zoe Stark into this, I thought it was a good idea. I was super excited for it, but now it's just like you said, it feels like it's been going on too long, and just to have it come to an end on a random episode of Monday Night Raw.
And who even knows if that's going to be the end?
Yeah, and it just doesn't feel right. So definitely,
because it doesn't feel like the type of thing that is going to end on a Raw.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's the most confusing about it. And also, I just think So, okay, we can Trish Stratus. I'll put her in a category of her own, just because. Whatever. Trish Stratus aside, like Becky Lynch. How can you not have Becky Lynch on the SummerSlam card?
Yeah.
She's one of the biggest stars in your company.
Yeah.
You need to have her on the SummerSlam card. It's simple.
Yeah.
And to me, it just makes it pisses me off even more, because then it's like, what have we been doing for the past 6 months?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like, what have we been doing? Because now you've just like essentially wasted all this time of Becky on screen, when Becky is one of your. And I'm not saying like a feud with Trish Stratus is a waste, but when you book it like this and take it off SummerSlam, it is, because Becky's one of the top tier players. You know what I mean? And I guess the one good thing that has come out of it is that it's given us another women's storyline consistently on TV that doesn't involve a title, and those have been hard to come by, and they've definitely gotten like more popular as of recent years, and that's one thing we can say about this, is that actually I was gonna say there's a good amount of women's matches on this SummerSlam card, but they pulled the Becky and Trish match.
There's only 2.
Yeah, and I thought there was gonna be 3.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just stupid. Like,
we
can move on, but
it's rough. It definitely feels like a wasted feud. It's definitely something where you're like, if I told you before the feud was happening, oh, we're gonna get a Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch feud, like, we would be pumped. But then once you're like, oh, well, this is how it's going down, we're like, oh, like, it's not that great. So definitely disappointed that the match isn't on the card. And with that being said, let's get started onto this match card. The first thing that we're going to kick off with, probably the easiest match to predict, is the Slim Jim Battle Royal. Obviously, LA Knight's going to win this. This whole match was just created to have LA Knight on the SummerSlam card. They didn't announce the entire field yet, but we do know LA Knight's in it, and LA Knight's just going to win, right?
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's got to be, right? I'm going with either LA Knight or the Dark Horse, our man, Chad Gable.
Okay.
I think after Monday, after a brilliant showing against Gunther on Monday, and him and Otis have mentioned, being in the SummerSlam Battle Royal, and I think that would be very, very, very fun. And the pop. All I'm saying, all right, I'm saying, I'm not saying it would mean a ton or whatever. LA Knight winning that Battle Royal, that's a cheap pop. That's a cheap-ass pop.
Yeah.
Chad Gable winning that Battle Royal, that's a real pop. That's not a cheap pop.
So, Does
that make sense to you?
Yeah, but here's the thing. If LA Knight's not going to win, don't put him in the match.
No, I agree. I think LA Knight is going to win.
I think if you have that situation where LA Knight's in the match, like, yes, everybody loves Chad Gable and their entire clique is like super over, but like if LA Knight's in the match, they may just boo if Chad Gable wins. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying there's a chance it could happen. Like, we've seen it time and time again.
I think this specifically might be an exception just because of how meaningless the Battle Royal is. That essentially where I'm saying is, I think, and it's not a shot on Chad Gable by any means, it's essentially just where they are on the card and how they've been booked. I think a win like this is almost like an insult to LA Knight in a weird like consolation prize way, to where as if like it's LA Knight is above this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not saying that this Battle Royal is whatever. I'm not saying that Chad Gable like belongs in this Battle Royal, because I think he can be a main event caliber guy. We're big Chad Gable guys, but I think that this makes more sense as like a stepping stone for Gable to get a push rather than a cheap pop for LA Knight. Although that is 100% what I think they're going for, is the cheap pop for LA Knight.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if I was booking it, I could put LA Knight in the match, and maybe I would just have him maybe you can have Hit Row or something, all team up and throw him over.
It could also
something stupid.
It could be something where LA Knight's in it to set up a feud going forward well.
That as well, but with that, I do think LA Knight's going to win. That's my pick.
I agree. That's also my pick because I think the entire purpose of this match was to get LA Knight on the SummerSlam.
I think a lot more can come out of this, and I think this match would be a lot less pointless, essentially, if a guy like Chad Gable got the win.
Yeah.
Because I think
it would do more for Gable than it would for LA Knight.
It would do way more. It would do nothing for LA Knight.
Yeah.
It would just put him on the card and give the fans a cheap pop.
Unless the only way it would do something for LA Knight is if he eliminated an absurd amount of people.
Yeah, or something.
But
see.
I just hate I don't know. We've seen them do these branded matches before, the Pitch Black match, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch sponsored match. And so I don't know. Obviously, WWE is a business. They're going to do what's best for business. If Slim Jim is obviously going to pay an absurd amount of money to have a battle royal on one of the major shows for them, then they're obviously going to do that. I just hope it's not super branded like we got with the Cinnamon Toast Crunch match.
It will be.
I know. But I also like you said, I think Chad Gable would be a great person to win this. I'm just sitting here picturing him and Otis just chowing down on some jerky sticks, some Slim Jims backstage.
Oh, dude, give me a Chad Gable win for this, please.
Yeah.
Actually.
But it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, but give me a Chad Gable win. I just need it.
All right.
Pop.
Let's move on to a match I'm very excited for. At least... I don't know how excited I am for this stipulation, but Ronda Rousey's taking on Shayna Baszler in an MMA rules match. If you ask me, it should have just been a fight pit. I think them facing off in a fight pit would have been awesome. I think, yes, they both have MMA background, but it's are they going to let them go out there and actually put on an MMA fight? No. Right? That's not going to happen because WWE can't afford to have, first of all, just the rating. They're not going to do that because obviously they're rated differently than MMA. If someone gets busted open, it's going to be bad. So they're going to have this weird MMA rules, knockout or submission type thing. Potentially a Raw Underground situation.
Yeah.
I just think it could have been better as a fight pit match. I think it should have been a fight pit match. But who do you think's coming out on top?
It's got to be Shayna. I'm picking Shayna.
Agreed.
It's got to be Shayna. And this has got to be, in my opinion, the beginning of the journey for Shayna winning the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble and taking the title off Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. To me, that's the way to go. I know a lot of people have thought it seems like it's eventually probably going to be Raquel, people think.
Yeah.
It needs to be Shayna, dude. Shayna's actually believable to beat Rhea, especially coming off a win, coming off beating Ronda. And I think Shayna could do really well as a babyface against Rhea. I really do. I think in a very badass way. I mean, the person who beats Rhea needs to be someone who's tough as shit and isn't gonna back down to her. And the only person in my head that makes sense, that isn't gonna feel forced down the fans' throats, is Shayna Baszler. So I think Shayna's going to beat Ronda. I think she's going to choke her out. And then I think it's going to begin the journey of eventually Shayna versus Rhea at WrestleMania. So who knows? That's my hope.
I completely agree. I think Shayna's coming out on top this one. I think she's going to make Ronda Rousey tap out. I think I prefer this to just be a normal match, but I understand why they're doing MMA rules. I just think WWE doesn't have a great track record.
I think
with
she's
doing
gonna
matches like
I think
this.
she's gonna choke Ronda out, and it's gonna be That's part of the reason they did MMA rules is because they'll be like the way they'll do it'll be like a ref will be looking, they'll be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Do you think she's gonna make Ronda tap, or do you think she's just gonna choke her out?
I think she's just gonna choke her out. I hope she makes her tap. It'll be awesome.
I think she will.
With an armbar?
No, she's gonna do it with her submission.
Word.
I think she will make her tap because, like, yes, having her beat her would do a lot, but just having her make Ronda Rousey tap out, because they always make a big deal about who's made Ronda Rousey tap out. I think that would even make this victory so much more meaningful for her. Regardless, I am excited. I agree. I think this could be a start of like a really good push for Shayna Baszler, and we're huge Shayna Baszler fans. We think she deserves it. And there was a point where she like was getting booked pretty highly, but she sort of like fell off, and then we were excited when she was tagging with Ronda. That didn't really lead to what we thought it was going to lead to, but nevertheless, we're here now. Her and Ronda are feuding. I think it came a little bit sooner than we had expected, but that being said, we're excited. Nonetheless, let's move on to another match that I thought they have done a pretty good job at building the hype to, and that's Ricochet taking on Logan Paul. This one's interesting because I don't really know how this one's going to play out. I think it's probably just going to be hit a big spot, hit a big spot, hit a big spot. I think it could steal the show, right? Like, we've seen Logan and Ricochet do crazy things. They're definitely going to create that moment that gets talked about for the entire night. However, I am going to take Logan Paul in this one. What about you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to do the same. Yeah, I just think Ricochet is going to take the first loss to Logan Paul. Not going to be clean, definitely not, but sucks to say it because Ricochet's finally getting a big singles match.
Yeah.
And you know what? Shout out to Ricochet for seeing his moment and taking advantage of it. You know what I mean? He saw an opportunity, and I'm sure he knew going into that spot at the Royal Rumble with Logan Paul, if it goes well and properly and stuff, that could mean good things for him, and it did. You know what I mean? Because it's led to this match at SummerSlam, and there's only 7 matches on the card. So Ricochet's on there with Logan Paul, and yeah, I definitely think that this is gonna be your big spot match. This is where we're gonna have a few big spots, and yeah, I'm really happy for Ricochet to just have a big singles match, and hopefully, this means even more for him moving forward, a better singles push.
Yeah, I just think like. I think there is like a really good chance that Logan Paul is going to win this, but I think like it's one of those things where it's WWE showing like how highly they think of Ricochet to put him in a feud like this. So we're both rooting for Ricochet. Ricochet is obviously very good inside the ring, and I think he's been underutilized in his main roster career with WWE. So definitely pretty excited for this match. All right, let's move on to a match that I am super excited for, and that is the Intercontinental Championship match. Drew McIntyre taking on the Ring General Gunther. I'm taking Gunther. Although right now it feels like this could be like the time to where they're gonna have Gunther lose and give Drew that win over him, but I just think we're so close to the record that they're going to have Gunther break the record, right? He's only like a month or 2 away from doing it, and I think it's also interesting now that they added the India show, which is the day after, or the day of that show, he's either would break the record or tie the record for the longest IC title reign. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's either September 7th or the 8th, but I know we talked about it before. We think this is going to lead to like a bigger feud with them. This match is going to be hard hitting. It's going to be a meat fest. Knife edge chop, Claymore, headbutt. It's going to be brutal. I just think that Gunther's going to win. I think he's going to break the record, and I think this is going to lead to like a trilogy of matches for him and Drew.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think Gunther's getting the win here. I do think Drew will probably be the one to eventually dethrone him, but I just don't think it's happening now. I think we're probably going to have, like you said, a trilogy. We'll have him break the record and then eventually have Drew dethrone him before Gunther probably moves on to some world title stuff. But taking Gunther, the ring general, just doing unreal things right now. His match with Gable on Monday was so good.
Incredible.
And yeah, dude, Gunther just easily one of my favorites, one of my favorite wrestlers right now, and I'm going with him to stay as your Intercontinental Champion.
Yes, there you have it. We both are taking Gunther. We are tied right now in terms of what matches we're taking, but I think there could be some we could have some differences in the coming matches. Let's move on to the WWE Women's Championship Triple Threat match. It's your champion, Asuka, taking on Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. Now, this one is very interesting because there's a few ways this could play out. It's a triple threat, which obviously means it's no disqualification. I think that Io Sky is going to cash in this match. Talked about it on the podcast, and I'm just trying to decide if she's going to cash in during the match to make it a fatal four-way, or is she going to wait until somebody wins and then she's going to cash in. So, like, part of me is like, are they going to give Charlotte Flair a win to add to her title reigns and then just have Io Sky cash in on her to give her another reign? Because obviously she's probably going to hit 16 at some point. And I think that's what they're going to do. So I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to take Charlotte Flair to win this triple threat match, but then Io Sky is going to cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase. Before we get into your predictions, I heard someone talk about this on TikTok. I'm sorry, I don't remember your username, but someone said, like, why, like, triple threat or fatal four-way matches, it's no DQ. It doesn't make sense. And they said, what they could do is, like, if you have someone use a steel chair, just have them disqualified from the match. I thought that was an interesting take on it.
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, but then also it's like, what if someone runs down and just starts attacking somebody in a match? Like somebody who's not in the match and just starts attacking somebody who's in the match. Then how do you figure it out? If somebody has like no involvement, they just don't like that guy.
That's a great point.
What do you think about that, TikTok?
Yeah. Huh? There's a hole in your plan.
Anyway.
Thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I actually hate to just keep saying the same thing, but I also think Io's going to cash in. But I think she's going to cash in on Asuka. I think Asuka's going to win, and then Io's going to cash in immediately, and we're going to get a very cool Io-Asuka feud.
Do you think there's any chance, like, heading into the match, before the match starts, Io's like, I'm cashing in to make it a fatal four-way?
That would be awesome, but I don't think it's going to happen. There's a chance.
I think there's a decent chance.
I think there's a chance if anybody was going to do it at this, if there was a chance that any woman was going to call their shot, I think this is now the best opportunity.
I think what adds to that is the fact that she's been trying to, like, cash it in recently, but obviously Bayley's kind of been messing everything up. So I think she could just be like, I'm tired of trying to do this like that. I'm tired of trying to, like, cash in at an opportune time. I'm just going to call my shot. We're going to do this, and, like, I just want to be in the match. Yeah. It's something I haven't heard anyone really talk about, so I think it's interesting. I don't know how likely it is, but I think there's a decent shot that it happens. Let's move on to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. Finn Balor is trying to beat Seth freaking Rollins to become the World Heavyweight Champion. Dillon, who are you taking in this match and why?
For the winner of this match and this person will become your new world heavyweight champion. I'm going with Finn Balor to pin Seth Rollins, most likely with the help of the Judgment Day. I think they could play it out as to where Damian and Finn set something up, essentially to make it look like Damian acts like he's gonna cash in, basically, and it seems as if Damian and Finn are once again Damian might cost Finn the title, it's gonna mess up, but really they're in on it with each other. It's all a ploy that is going to lead to Rollins getting distracted by the trick and then Finn becoming your world champion. And eventually it's going to lead, obviously, to the demise of the Judgment Day, and it feels like Damian's probably going to cash in on Finn. But I think we're at least going to get some time of the entire Judgment Day with all titles, including Damian peacefully holding up his briefcase and just being happy for Finn. I don't think we're going to get, an immediate thing by that. I don't think we're going to get an immediate, cash in on Finn when he does win. But, yeah, I think Finn's going to win, man. I really do.
So this one's interesting because there's, obviously a few different ways that this could go. However, I'm going to take Seth Rollins, and I know we've talked about it before, but I just think that there's one thing we're forgetting here. J.D. McDonough, right? Where the heck has he been? So I think that it could be this isn't my official prediction, but I think there's a chance Priest could cash in on Seth to win. And then Finn's pissed, and then he leaves the Judgment Day, and he links up with JD. I think that Seth is going to win. I think it's going to be a case of Priest is going to try to cash in, but then kind of cost Finn Balor the match. Thus, Seth is still a champ, but then it starts the crack in the Judgment Day. But
my only thing with that is, that basically already happened, though. That's basically what happened at their other match.
But I just don't think that they're going to stick together. I think this is going to be the point where we get another crack. They've been playing it as if everything's all good with the Judgment Day, but I don't know. I just think that's I just think that they don't want to take the title off of Seth just yet.
Gotcha.
No, and I think Finn absolutely deserves to be champion.
No, yeah.
I'm definitely, part of me is rooting for Finn to win because I think he does deserve it. I think that also adds a lot of interesting elements to the Judgment Day, having Finn be the champion with Priest holding the briefcase. So if I didn't think Io was going to cash in, I would say that Priest was going to cash in, but I don't think they're both going to cash in.
I think it's interesting to see our different viewpoints on it, because whereas you view it as in they've been acting like the Judgment Day is all cool, but really there's more cracks than they're leading to believe. I view it as in they're playing into the cracks to make Seth and people think that there's more of a problem than there is.
Yeah.
So they can then have Finn win and be we're all together, baby.
All right, so you guys let us know in the comments below. What do you think? Where do you think they're doing with this? Do you think that do you agree with Dillon or do you agree with me? What do you think is going to happen with the Judgment Day? Regardless, we're both super excited to see how this all plays out. So let's move on, because we've got an interesting one. We've got the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, taking on Brock Lesnar. Just to give you a sneak peek into the podcast for next week's episode, we are going to be talking about the Cody Rhodes documentary. So definitely try to watch it before that, because, wow, we were both blown away by it. Now, this one's interesting because I've seen some people talk about on Twitter about, what if Cody Rhodes loses to, have him hit rock bottom or something. I don't think Cody's going to lose.
No.
I think there is, without a shadow of a doubt, Cody Rhodes is going to win.
There's
this
a
damn
reason
match.
they put out the documentary this week going into that match, bro. They're not gonna have Cody lose this. I promise.
Agreed.
Yeah, Cody is winning. This is honestly the one match I'm most confident about, to be honest. That Cody is going to win. You can't have all the people watch that Cody documentary and just be so hard on his side in the feels of his loss at WrestleMania, and then have him lose the final match to Brock Lesnar. Not happening. Cody Rhodes is getting the W here.
Completely agree. I just wish we would have gotten a cool stipulation.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Because it's similar to what happened before. Like Cody Rhodes was just like, I want to fight. And then like a few months ago when he was challenging Brock, or Brock said it with Shayna, and I was just like, oh, like this is just gonna be a normal match. Like saying you want a fight doesn't really mean anything. Obviously, it's not what happened with Shayna and Ronda. I think that this could have been a steel cage match, would have been cool. A Texas bull rope match would have been cool.
Hell in a Cell
would have been cool. There's a lot of really cool things that they could have done. Regardless, I am super excited for this match, and I am going to take Cody Rhodes as well. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to come out on top in this one. All right. That brings us to our final match. The main event. One of the biggest main events in main event history. One of the biggest matches in SummerSlam history. You've got the Tribal Chief. You've got the only one. You got the head of the table, Roman Reigns, defending not only the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, but also the Tribal Chief name against his cousin, his former right-hand man, Jey Uso.
I am so excited for this match. This is the match I'm the most excited for. And I feel like everybody else probably feels the same way. So engulfed and entrenched in the storyline of the bloodline. And this is tribal combat, Mark.
Yeah.
Anything goes.
Yeah.
There is no champion's advantage.
And
wait, isn't that true? Yeah, it's a no DQ.
Yeah.
There's no champion's advantage and no DQ.
Also,
you can only win by pinning or submitting your opponent.
Also,
it was the Elder's idea. He said it was the Elder's idea.
Also, another thing worth noting with tribal combat is you can't have other members of the bloodline interfere with the match. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be Roman versus Jey.
Roman versus Jey, mano y mano, Uso versus Uso. And like you said, Mark, the title of Tribal Chief is on the line. Jey Uso has been doing some of the best work of his entire career, without a doubt, leading up to this match. He's really playing into the emotion of going up against a family member, someone that he loves, that is in a position of power that they have taken advantage of. And Jey is doing this because he feels like he has to, not because he wants to. And, wow. Is Jey Uso going to win, dude? Is Jey Uso going to become the tribal chief? There's a chance. There's a bigger chance than people think.
Agreed.
With that being said, I'm going to take Roman Reigns.
Yeah. I'm also going to take Roman. I just think he's going to hold it until Mania. And I think Cody's going to beat Roman.
But there's some things that make me think twice. And it's one, it's tribal combat. If you're going to have Roman lose the title in a way that doesn't make him look super weak, you know what I mean? In a way that doesn't make him look terrible. I mean, do it in a match that there's no DQs and stuff, you know what I mean? A match where he can truly take a beating, where people are, you know what I mean? So that's the one thing where I'm like, maybe they did that to excuse excuse it a little bit. Also, I just don't know where we go after this, man. But who knows? It's going to be interesting. Do you think an elder or the elders or members of the other members of the bloodline are going to show up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there is almost without a doubt 100% chance that that's going to happen.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Rikishi.
Yeah, it feels like Rikishi's definitely going to show up, right?
Yeah.
Who else, though?
Roman's dad. What's his name?
Sika.
Sika.
I think.
You think The Rock shows up?
I don't know, bro. The one thing that people are saying is because of the writer's strike. The Rock probably has a lot more time on his hands now.
Yeah. I
don't see it.
I don't want
see
him to.
Yeah, me either.
I
really.
think it would overshadow this match too much.
Yeah.
Because when this match happens, if The Rock returns, the thing you're gonna remember is The Rock returning. I don't think they need it. I don't think The Rock needs to be anywhere close to this storyline, and so I'm just super excited. I'm also taking Roman Reigns. I'm very excited to see how this match ends, and I'll tell you this: I think Solo Sikoa is gonna turn on Roman Reigns in this match, and I think the wise man is gonna go with Solo Sikoa. And here's how I think it's gonna play out. I think I'm very excited for the ending because I think that's where they always do really good with these bloodline stories.
My gosh, yeah.
Obviously, I think we're gonna see Roman just beating the absolute piss out of Jay, and then him just kind of like not wanting to do it, similarly to how like Jay's been this entire time. And I think like there's a chance that he could have Solo sort of like try to end Jay's career. And then Solo may not want to do it, or maybe he does do it, but then he also turns on Roman Reigns post-match, and then the wise man goes with Solo Sikoa, because I think that's a good chance, or that's a good like place where we head next is Roman versus Solo, because there were reports a few weeks ago that WWE was planning another babyface run for Roman Reigns. I think that he could easily turn face now, following what happens at SummerSlam. And I just think something really big is going to happen at SummerSlam involving the Bloodline storyline. I think that's a good way to get us until, that'll be a good thing for them to do for the next few months until you can start to build up, like, whatever the Mania match is going to be, which is probably going to be Roman versus Cody. So I just think that Solo's going to turn on Roman in the main event of this bad boy. And this is definitely going to be the longest match of the night.
Yeah, for sure.
So you guys let us know in the comments down below, what match are you most excited for? And do you think Roman Reigns is going to win in the main event? With that being said, that's going to wrap up the video. You can listen to the Burning Hammer podcast on Apple. You can listen to it on Spotify, or you can listen to it wherever you listen to your podcast. Plus, you can watch it on YouTube at The Burning Hammer. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can see more wrestling content. The best way to stay up to date with everything we do is to follow us on our social media. You can follow us on Twitter at The Burning Hammer, and you can follow us on everything else at The Burning Hammer. With that being said, Dillon, I think, has some closing words for us.
Mr. Kennedy.
We'll see you guys in the next video.